Hi again, this is Marc Villeneuve, your expert in the violin dealings. And today we're going to do the 1715 Jamesinus Stradivari, known as the Marsick Stradivari. And also we will make comparative with the 1733 Rosiers Stradivari. So, imagery 1. You can see from the Gand Catalogue, you know this book, we have talked about it. This is the testament of Annibale Fagnola, was not written by Eugene Gand. It's all ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. So, imagery 1, you have the original markings for the Marsick Stradivari. And notice the red ink. Not all instruments in the Gand Catalogue are inscribed with red ink. It has a special signification. It means that they are the best instruments Fagnola made. So we will demonstrate how erratic traditional experts are and how misleading they are towards the public by assuming that any documentation related to Count Cosio di Salabou, you know, the first owner of the Messiaen Stradivari, or the inscriptions contained in the Gand Catalogue, and all the drawings and imagery from the Victorian firm Hills that you can see in their publications. They assume everything to be genuine and authentic and even authoritative, but everything is ciphered by Annibale Fagnola, who is the true maker. So let's go to imagery A. This is a letter from Count Cosio di Salabou, dated 1803, that was sold for quite a high price by Jason Price from Tarisio. You have the original. Then you go to see our ciphers, imagery B. You see Ignacio, it's all ciphered by Annibale Fagnola in the signature. And then you go to the next imagery, C, and you have the complete signature that is ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. So Fagnola impersonated Count Cosio di Salabou. We have proven this in our books. You can see all the ciphers of any writings by Cosio di Salabou. Imagery number 2, you can see 1879 Mr. Marsick, 1880 Mr. Werner, and we provide imagery 3, the correct angle to view the ciphers of Annibale Fagnola in the Gand Catalogue for the Marsick Stradivari. Imagery 4, we have deciphered the complete digits of 1879, 1880. You can see the central F in 1879, and completely to the right, 1879, you can see the complete logo of Fagnola. Everything is clearly described. You have to study the ciphers we have done, deciphered for you. So it's a constancy in any Fagnola ciphers, you know, to encrypt the digits. Imagery 5, now we will study Mr. Marsick and Mr. Werner, and you have our decryption at imagery 6. That is very clear. You can see Mr. Marsick at the top, and you can see a part of it, sick, imagery 7, and look how well detailed it is. Then imagery 8, we have deciphered for you with the correct angle, the Marsick, the end, the K, and you can see the clear F, the G in the center, then go a little bit to the left, you have the A, you have the L and O. So it's all ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. Imagery 9, you have Mr. Werner. You can study it. Always the central F. You can see it in the blue rectangular figure and the green circle. And you can study this by yourself. And notice the strange W all in the hypertext insertion. Now, imagery 10, Siemens, 11,000 francs. Just, it's a mirror effect. So just notice the S that becomes a F, G. You can see it everywhere, especially in the lower part. Go to the lower part where it's written mirror effect, and you can see the S of Siemens. When it's in mirror effect, you have a complete F, G, and you can follow a small A in the center, a L, and O. The complete lettering of Fagnola is very well described. Imagery 11 is we go deeper into the decipher process, so you can see all the letterings there. Now, what's more interesting is imagery 12. We have the complete Siemens 11 franc, but it's upside down, and you can see clearly all the ciphers starting from left, FG. Then you go and you can see the digit 11, for instance, there, F there, and you continue in Siemens, and all the lettering of Fagnola are in hypertext and hidden. It has to be seen upside down. Imagery 13, you can study it all. It's even clearer there, and it's more convincing, so it's a fact. The Gand Catalogue is ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. Imagery 14, more details there. You can see very well the F, the G on the right, L, and the small a in the middle. And on the left, you can view the F and O and the A. Now, we have cumulative evidence with similar Gand Fagnola inscriptions for the 1715, 1716 à la Noob Stradivarius. We have done a complete video on the à la Noob, but we have to make comparative, and this is what we call cumulative evidence before a court of justice. So 14A, you have Mr. Adams, 20,000 francs, and 14B, you have the complete decryption of Adams, 20,000 francs, and it's similar to what you have seen for the Marsick Stradivari. It's in mirror effect, 14B. 14C, again, this is the Allard inscriptions in the Gand Catalogue, the Allard Stradivari. In mirror effect, you have a clearer view here, and all the digits, the lettering are inserted in hypertext. Cumulative evidence is additional proof of the same kind or character as evidence already presented, reinforcing a fact that has already been established. So if you're in a court of justice, you want to prove the Marsick Stradivari to be a Fagnola creation, you add cumulative evidence with the Allard inscriptions or any inscription similar that you can find in the Gand Catalogue. Now, imagery 15, we are in the Marsick Strad. So you can see in violet blue, you can see the Stradivarius part that we will study. Now you can go to imagery 16. It's very dense. We suggest you go just to the center for right now and go to the rectangular in yellow, and you can start Stradivari You can see the F, the G, the LA, and you go up in the yellow rectangular and you can see all the lettering, but they're everywhere in the complete imagery. You have to study this by yourself. Imagery 17 is another part of the letter of the inscription in the Gand Catalogue for the Marsick. We just want to prove to you that the complete text is ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. Imagery 18, you have there Stradivarius that is completely deciphered by us, but notice in the lower part where it's written 14, you have the vertical position of Stradivari in normal lettering, and you can see the F, and then you go to the right and you have the mirror effect. You can see the switch, you know, the F becomes a FG, and that's everything that's written Stradivarius. Every violin description, the word Stradivarius is always the same, so it's all ciphered by Fagnola. Imagery 19, we did the violin, and you can see the decryptions there that we have done. Imagery 20, 13 pouces, 3 lignes, année in French. You have the complete Fagnola deciphering there. And now we will go and study the violin itself, because on the sides, the maple, and on the back, there are very interesting descriptions, what we call Romano-Christian inscriptions. Now, imagery 21, go to the large one, the large imagery. You can see in the bottom a double F, okay? The rest, you can study it by yourself, because we have a lot to discuss today. Imagery 22 is in normal position. It's the Marsick Strad, the back, but you have to go see in mirror effect, imagery 22, and go to your right, and you can see a clear FG at the bottom. That's what we call the Francis Bacon G form. Francis Bacon published many works of Shakespeare, and he was a Freemason, and he invented an alphabet for secret writings, and this is the G of his alphabet that Fagnola uses everywhere in the Lady in Blonde, for example, peg box, or in the Messiaen peg box, in the Suaire of Turin, my violin, peg box, it's the same G. Imagery 22A, we have it in black and white, and it's more clear for you. So a clear F, a clear G for Fagnola. It's a cipher of Fagnola, it's a brand. Imagery 23, you can see the F on the left, and on the right too there's a big F, and you can see the little decryption we have made. Now we have to speak about early Christians in the Roman Empire. They used, you know, cryptography symbols, a hidden heart in their catacombs. So the Roman state surveillance forced the Christian, you know, to use the iconography to avoid persecution. So in 24 you have a real catacomb, and we will study the details of imagery in imagery 25. And so you have Jesus in the center, and you have a shepherd on the left. And now we will look more in detail. Imagery 26, you can see already all the letterings F coming out in black, and then we will decipher the painting on the walls. 27, you can see the clear FA, and look the comparative of the F with the Marsick Strad imagery 27. You have to go in alternance. It's the same thing. Imagery 28, look at the left, the FA with the yellow arrow within the drawing of the shepherd. Okay? F in early Christianity means faith or fish. Also, the A means alpha A means the beginning. It represents the eternity and divinity of Jesus Christ. The ictus, which is a Christian symbol, the ictus, you have it everywhere in the writings of Fagnola. Experts never notice this because they're not expert in writing. And they don't know about history. They don't make the comparatives, you know, with early Christian Romano symbols, which we do. So the constant use of the ictus, the fish, the Christian symbol in Fagnola's art, you can see it in Mr. Werner. This is one of the fake previous owner of the Marsick Stradivari. So you can see imagery 29. In the center, the double F, you know, and in the right with the original ink. These are the ictus, the fish, the Christian fish symbol. And image 30, you can see them again clearly in the correct angle, a double ictus. And then you have the imagery below of a real early Christian ictus, probably from a wall or in the catacombs. What's interesting is that Annibale Fagnola encrypted his own signature with ictus-shaped lettering. Imagery 31, you have an original Annibale Fagnola 1929 violin inscription inside. And 32, we have done the complete decryption. Fagnola, in his own signature, tells all who he really is. Because the signature, ciphers, and hypertext are omnipresent in all existent materials, traditional experts do rely on. Unfortunately, they failed to see that Fagnola's signature is like a codex, you know. I'm the one who ciphered the Gand Catalogue. I'm the one who ciphered the Hill certificate. I'm the one who ciphered all Salabou Cosio writings. So imagery 32 is very interesting. Then in the same signature you have Torino, made in Torino, but you just have the Fitchit. You can see the last letter of Fitchit, imagery 33. And you have the F, even a L below the S, and a little A close to the L. And then you go further in Torino, and you see this is not the T. It's a N, a F, a G, and a A all mixed up. And then you go again, a F and a O. Then you have a G. For in the R of Torino, a G. Imagine a N and then LA. It continues. The complete Fagnola inscriptions are seen in Turin. Image 33. Now we will talk about the difference between cumulative evidence, which we have done so far, and corroborative evidence. Cumulative repeats, corroborative reinforces. Cumulative is similar from similar sources, like the Gand Catalogue, all the inscriptions are similar. And corroborative, it's from independent, different sources. So the Gand Catalogue is one source, for instance, and the Salabou, Count Cosio di Salabou, is another different material. It's a different sources. When they come from different sources, it does reinforce the fact, it's scientific, the scientific fact that Fagnola, Annibale Fagnola, is the real maker or the writer, if you want. Now, imagery 34, we will see the FA brand on La Pucelle Stradivari, owned by David Fulton, the collector. You can see 34 below, blue arrow. You know, you can see the clear FA. My violin has it too inside. And several other instruments, I suspect if they open them, they will find the brand FA with two eyes of providence as seen in the 34, imagery 34. 35, the Duc Guarneri del Jesu, you have all the Romano symbol, Christian symbol, and you have the F, the N, the O, you can read it by yourself. And you have it in imagery, maybe I made a mistake, but below 36, 36 joined together. You have the catacombs in black and white, Rome, Italy, the eyes of providence that are very similar to the ones seen on the Duc Guarneri del Jesu. Imagery 37, this is my violin, but there's other ciphers like these. They're engraved in the epicea in the front of the lower front. So this is the Shroud of Turin, labeled Joseph Antonius Rocca 1856. And you can see the ciphers there. Imagery 38 is in Rome, Italy, an epitaph in the catacombs. And you can see again the eyes of providence, and with, you know, the big dot. And just go back to imagery 37 or the Duc Guarneri del Jesu, and you will see similar eyes of providence. Now we go back to the Gand Catalogue with the Marsick Stradivarius 39. La Martre is all deciphered there. You can study it by yourself. And imagery 40, it's the 17-15 digits that we are doing the decryption there. So imagery 41 and 42, they must be analyzed jointly. Okay. So imagery 41, you can see clearly in the center, you know, the F, the A always joined together, the NO up more higher, and you have the L, follow the blue arrows, and everything you have, everything is there. Then imagery 42, upside down, you have the clear Freemasonry G of Francis Bacon, and just study it. Fagnola is all in the digits. 42A is very interesting. You have the normal digit 17-15 left, and in mirror effect, look, the beautiful F right, the F, the double F, the G, everything is there again. Now we will talk about the fraudulent and broken chain of possession for the Marsick 1750 Marsick Stradivarius. So it's important in front of a court of justice to present an unbroken chronological record of everyone who possessed the material. Okay? If this is done, in fact, to ensure that the evidence is the authenticity of the evidence, preventing tampering, contamination, substitution. A broken chain, missing signatures, undocumented gaps can make evidence not admissible in front of a court of justice. So imagery 43 from the Tarisio website, we know because we deciphered it that in 1870 La Martre is a fraudulent owner. We know also because we decrypted Martin Pierre Marsick They are from, and Werner Hermann von Siemens, both are fraudulent owners. So the chain of possession is broken right from the beginning, and we believe the violin was made after 1880, and I believe so. It would be credible to say even 1904, because Annibale Fagnola was very active for the Hills family during these years. So imagery 44, we speak about Siemens, who was I think he was in electric genius, and he owned companies, but our deciphering of Lamarck, Marsick and Siemens from the Gand Catalogue inscriptions makes it impossible the violin to be in existence between 1870 and 1904. We speak about Émile Germain. He was specialized, I think, in varnishing or something like that, but he was a luthier. Stubiguer also was a luthier who died in 1938. Now we're going into the part 2 of the PDF, and we will add, we have additional corroborative independent material proving the 17 Marsick Stradivari to be a Fagnola fabrication. And here is why. Imagery 45, you have a certificate, a Hills certificate for a Guarneri del Jesu, dated I think 1936. You will see that Fagnola until the end of his life was making fake Guarneri del Jesu and fake Stradivaris for the benefit of the Hills family. So the certificate is entirely ciphered by Annibale Fagnola, and it relates to the Baltic Guarneri del Jesu, was sold recently by the firm Tarisio, Jason Price, advertised everything. You can go see in the link imagery 46 of the violin. The link is there. And now let's go to 47. Look, the little part. This is the Hills certificate, 47. Up, the blue arrows, and look below, imagery 48, what we have done. The complete deciphering of the inscriptions on the Hill certificate. Fagnola made lots of fake certificates. For the Lady Blonde, the Violin, we have deciphered, and for a very, very famous instrument that was sold recently also by Jason Price of Taruso, the Da Vinci Seidel Stradivari was also entirely made by Fagnola. You can read everything in our book. The Gand Catalogue, you know, was discussed by Professor Zachman. He wrote a book about the Messiaen Stradivari, a reliable story. You can find it by clicking Google imagery. It's near my publication. And he talks about the Chant du Cygne violin and the inscriptions of the Gand Catalogue. So we will demonstrate how erratic and dangerous Professor Zachman studies are about the history of the Messiaen Stradivari and other masterpieces. Imagery 49 is directly from Zachman publication. It's the Chant du Cygne Stradivari, presumably the last the Stradivarius Stradivari made, dated 1737. And you have this at imagery 50. You have the genuine, the real label inside the Chant du Cygne that was extracted for the violin, from the violin. And also Professor Zachman talks about imagery 51, and my text talks about the fact that the Hills family did a facsimile of the Chant du Cygne in their 1908 publication about Stradivarius and his life. Everything is ciphered by Annibale Fagnola in the Hills publication. So imagery 52. In the previous page you have two red arrows. This is the 1737 label facsimile, and it's all ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. You can see this in our books, websites. They're all, we deciphered all of the labels in that 1908 publication by the Hills. So you can see imagery 52, the complete deciphering, and imagery 53 is also the same label, but you have more details of the ciphers. And notice, look, in the lower part, in yellow, left, look, the big eye of Providence containing the LA and below the FAG, and you can see the complete decryption if you read everything. Now, 54, that particular 1737 Stradivarius, you have the Gand Catalogue inscription, Monsieur Nagornov, and it's for the Chant du Cygne Stradivari of 1737. 55, look, Mr. Wright, 20,000 francs, and the digits in reversed, you know. Everything is ciphered by Annibale Fagnola, so Annibale Fagnola is the true maker of the supposed last Stradivari violin. So read the ciphers at 55 again, study them carefully, and we go to another Gand Catalogue, Dany 91 inscription. It's a Stradivarius dated 1736, imagery 56. You have the original Gand Catalogue. Now, imagery 57, 58, you have months, and you can see 1874. And look, our decryption at 58. We didn't do it, we just let you figure out, look, the big LA, the FA, the G already, and you have the complete decryption proving Mr. Professor Zachman wrongdoing. 59, the complete Fagnola deciphering in the Gand Catalogue for that particular 1736 Stradivarius. Now, let's go to imagery 60. It's the digit 1874 that is also deciphered by us. Imagery 61, Gand Catalogue, Dany 92. You can see again all the ciphers of Fagnola in the digits and the letters. Imagery 62. The same thing, other decryptions. Now we go back to the Hills facsimile in their 1908 publication about Stradivari and his life. Imagery 63, you can see a 1736 Dany 92 label, all ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. So it's 63 imagery, 64 and 65. Now we will study another violin, which is owned by Angèle Dubois. She has wonderfully contributed, you know, as a violinist in a very long career to make accessible classical music, and she was playing the Rosiers Stradivari. She still owns it right now. It's not featured in the Gand Catalogue, so you can see D1, the picture of the violin. You can go see also the Taricio website to have more details. D2 is the imagery of the label. You will see lots of them. They all come from the Tarisio website. Now you have Antonio Stradivari Fagnola. Imagery D3. We will start by progressive deciphering. So D3, look in Danny, Fagnola, you see the clear F on D3. Then D4, we move the imagery. You can see a G, a, and look in the center, the small f with a G. Then go to the right, N, G, O in black. So you already have a complete Fagnola deciphering right there. Imagery D5, another angle. You can see the L and the A. D6, the L and the A in hypertext is clearly there. D7, imagery D7, now we're going further in the process of deciphering. How to understand the hidden ciphers. So from top left, go to the left, imagery D7, NO, you can see the A, but the A that is there indicated by the blue arrow, you saw it before in the other decryption, the previous one. But you see the G, another F, the L, NO, G, NO. So the joined NO, G and O, the joined G and O, you have three of them there. So study this carefully. You will see that like Stradivari, the R, Stradivari, on the top there's a G if you put it on the proper angle, and the A has some A withins, and most of all the letters, the T has the R, they have F and A, so you have to study this carefully. D8, same process, we go deeper, you can see all the cipherings of Fagnola. D8A, same thing. D8B, we go further. It's very minimalist, and you have to decrease the intensity of the photographic process, because these letterings were all done by Fagnola in a minimalist way. So by clearing the image, you can see clearly the ciphers. Imagery D9, now we are in the Maltese cross circle. So you can see from left to right, far left, the red arrow, you have a F there. Then you go in the pink oval circle, you have the LA. Then you go further, you can see a F. I know it's not clear, but look in the circle, you have a clear little F there. And then in the yellow arrow, you can see another F in the center, and at the top in Cremonenfis, you have the F there also. But you have to go down to D10, imagery D10, to see all the details. D11, now it's another angle, you can see from top to bottom the F, there's lots of them, and the AG. Then imagery D12, look, the beautiful Eye of Providence, it's unretouched, D12, it's D13 that we do all the deciphering. So it's, you have the Freemasonry Bacon G there, and in the Maltese cross you can see all the ciphers clearly. D14, it's the same thing, other angle, but go below, really below. You can see the clear A, the F in the center, the L, the A, and the N. Imagery D16. Same thing, look, the center eye of Providence is in fact a G and a F, and to the right, you continue, you have the A. D16, the complete decryption we have done for you. Study it carefully. Clearly, this label was fabricated by Annibale Fagnola. D17, well, this is Arthur Leblanc, the owner of the Rosiers Stradivari, the first owner, and he was a fantastic player. We have testimonies. Was from Acadie, Canada, but studied in Quebec, Boston, in France with Jacques Thibault, yes, the French violinist, and many other famous teachers. And he played at his best between, I would say, 1930s and 1942, because he was probably he had mental issues, you know, and he was probably it was very difficult to make medical analytics of his problems, but he had a lobotomy. They made him a lobotomy, so he couldn't play anymore. He had memory loss and everything. But everyone I knew, very competent Canadian persons, pianists, musicians, say that Leblanc was really a top player. And you have his complete history here. You know, he made his debut in Town Hall, New York, in 1939, and you have the New York critic there, and even Milo composed a violin concerto for him, but it was a very short career. He also played on the turbo given to Wieniawski by the Austrian emperor. But what's more interesting, D18, we have made an extensive research about the Desrosiers family, and it's all a lie. Charles Desrosiers, you can see from the Tarisio website, the chain of possession, Charles Desrosiers never existed. And the Desrosiers family in Lyon was not existing in Lyon between 1898 and 1911. You have to read carefully everything I wrote, because I proved that the violin was probably made in 1911 by Annibale Fagnola for the benefit of the Hills and Firm. Now D19, you have the etymology and genealogy of the Desrosiers family, and there is no existing family in Lyon at the time, when you see the provenance of the instrument from the Tarisio website, there is absolutely nothing about Desrosiers. And Jason Price tells the story of supposed to have cost the life of a young corporal, during the French Revolution, and he saved the violin and everything. The only existing Desrosiers from Lyon before the Revolution immigrated in the French colonial province of Quebec with his family. His name is Antoine Desrosiers. It's the only known Desrosiers in history from the Diocese of Lyon. And you can read all his story there, because in 1641, he immigrated to New France and settled at Trois-Rivières. So it would be impossible that Stradivarius made a violin for him, that he owned a violin from Stradivari, because it's dated 1733. And after Antoine Desrosiers, there's no Desrosiers in Lyon. So this is all fake. Now we will finish soon. From the Hills publication of 1908, we have an example of a 1715 label, all ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. So it's example 1, imagery, from the Hills publication of 1908, and this is corroborative evidence. Now, example 2, you have the complete deciphering by us. Example 3, again, deciphering by us of the Maltese cross. Example 4, same thing. Example 5 in mirror effect. I think it's the most beautiful one. This is what we call corroborative evidence. Fagnola made all the drawings of the labels, Stradivari labels for the Hills firm, published in their 1908 book. So to understand the Marsick label or any other 1715 dated Stradivarians made by Annibale Fagnola, the Hills facsimile gives you all the clues. Now let's dig into the Marsick label, decrypted, 1715. This is imagery A. You can see A and F in the 17, digit 7 and 5. Digit 5 is a F. Imagery B, I didn't touch it. Imagery C, you can see in the A of Antonius a clear F. So remember before all the deciphering we have done of other labels, you can see the F in the A of Antonius. Then imagery D, I have a clearer image of the F within the A of Antonio, and it's clearly written FGA. Then you have the N. The T has a shape of a L, and you can see, look, the red arrow, there's a little Romano-Christian A attached to the O. Imagery E, A, B, C, D, A. Look again, left, the F, the NO, the A. And look, we have done for you, Antonio. In the middle, the pink rectangular figure. You have the clear FA inside, and again the little A attached to the A. Now we go to imagery F. Stradivarius, Cremomenensis. So I didn't touch too much the original, but now we go upside down. Imagery F and G. Imagery G, we have the complete deciphering. You have to study that carefully. Imagery, that one I forgot, to put, it's page 97, okay? So you have another decryption, a complete Fagnola decryption. It's a Romano-Christian graffiti epitaph. Imagery I, you have the FA. You can study it also. Imagery G, you can see the decryption below. And you have the F, the clear A G, NG, you can see NOLA. And look below the FA again. There's many ways to see the FA in the Maltese cross. You have to play with it and to make it reverse or other angles. Now K, imagery K. This is, I would say, the most convincing decryption, but you have to study the other ones to understand everything. Everything is ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. L is also ciphered by Annibale Fagnola, but you have more in a more normal way of viewing it. Now you can understand everything if you read what we have done before. Now, from the Hills monogram of 1891, the facsimile drawing of Fagnola for the Messiaen Stradivari. So this is from the Oxford Museum, the Ashmolean Museum. So you have the original from the publication of the Hills in 1891, and we have decrypted imagery everything. It's all ciphered by Annibale Fagnola. So 67, you have the imagery of the Marsick Stradivari, and now we have seen everything. Thanks for watching. You can find everything on Google. Just click imagery. We're the first to appear there, and you see the entire book. And we have also a channel on YouTube. And please, for us, because this is not for, we don't do this to gain benefit, money, or anything. It's for truth. So, and our expertise are extremely detailed, and we believe that we have a new approach and it's scientific. So please share our videos or our page with friends and everything, because it's important. Truth is important, especially about the fact that Fagnola is probably the greatest violin maker of all times, and this needs to be known by the public. Many thanks again, and we will post new videos soon.